Hello and welcome to another episode of the in-depth review series where we take a look at an older, once mainstream car and review it as if it were brand new. This is how Neighborhood Car Reviews digitally preserves these cars to enjoy for years to come, and today's review subject is possible because of the amazing folks over at Purcell Auto Sales in Camby, Indiana. Make sure to check them out online as they always seem to have a very diverse inventory in rotation. I have always held a deep appreciation for the third generation F-body vehicles produced by General Motors. The discovery of this Camaro was a serendipitous finding that aligns perfectly with my mission as a content creator. My objective, of course, is to digitally preserve automotive history, presenting these classic vehicles as if they were newly minted, ensuring that future generations can appreciate and admire them. The 1989 model year marked a resurgence of the RS trim line as the base model, complemented by the IROC-Z as the pinnacle of the lineup. Notably, 1990 would serve as the final year of the IROC-Z, as General Motors discontinued the contract with the International Race of Champions. The significance of the IROC-Z is essential to recognize that this trim level has been a fixture of the Camaro lineup since 1985. It represents an enhanced version of the Z28 trim, offering a range of performance upgrades. The racing version of the Camaro featured a specially tuned 450 horsepower version of the 5.7-liter V8 engine, complemented by a tube steel chassis crafted by Banjo Matthews in his workshop in North Carolina. In contrast, the production cars incorporated stiffer suspensions, upgraded brakes, and modest horsepower increases. Additionally, they were adorned with distinctive body-side graphics and unique trim elements. The production of the third-generation F-body vehicles commenced on October 12, 1981, and concluded on August 27, 1992, spanning model years 1982 through 1992 at the Van Nuys assembly plant in California. Our particular vehicle was assembled in November of 1988. Hey everyone, in today's latest installment of the in-depth review series, we are taking a look at this very nice, very well equipped and quite rare 1989 Chevrolet Camaro. Now what makes this Camaro rare? Well, it's the fact that it's the trim level of what it is. This is an IROC-Z. Now they came in several trims. The most popular ones, of course, were the Z28s, but the more powerful version was the IROC-Z, and that's what this car is. Now, originally, I believe this car was painted in dark red metallic. I am not 100% sure of that, but it has been repainted, I believe, into this pretty striking cayenne red metallic. It looks very good on this car, and of course, you'll note that the inside of the wheels are also body color. Now this car is also a T-top car, so it does have the removable roof panels, and it does feature the dark red cloth interior. Now if I can find pricing, I'll show pricing on the screen with the full options listed in the description box below. Today's review is going to be a full in-depth review. We're going to cover everything from the exterior to the interior, powertrain, performance, and everything else in between. The Camaro, of course, is front-engine rear-wheel drive with power coming from the $1,045 optional Corvette-derived 350 cubic inch 5.7-liter tuned port injection pushrod V8 engine. This engine is of cast iron block aluminum head construction and features 16 valves and a 9.3:1 compression ratio. With this engine option, only the automatic transmission is available. While it's the same engine as in a Corvette, because of the slightly more restrictive Camaro exhaust, it has a bit less horsepower. This engine creates 240 horsepower at 4,400 RPM and 345 pound-feet of torque at 3,200 RPM. The IROC-Z can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.9 seconds. 0 to 100 miles per hour comes in at 16.3 seconds, with a quarter mile hitting in at 14.6 seconds at 98 miles per hour. The top speed on this car is 148 miles per hour. The Camaro comes equipped with a 15.5 US gallon fuel capacity, and it consumes 5.6 gallons per 100 miles driven, with an estimated total driving range of just 279 miles. EPA fuel economy figures on this car are 15 miles per gallon in the city, 23 miles per gallon on the highway, and a combined average of 18 miles per gallon. Unfortunately, the more powerful 5.7-liter V8 only allowed for the $490 optional 4-speed TH700R4 turbo-hydromatic automatic transmission with overdrive. Notably, our particular model features the standard 2.27 to 1 rear axle ratio and the limited slip differential. Steering is hydraulic power-assisted coaxial semi-reversible recirculating ball with 2.1 turns lock-to-lock and a 40.3-foot turning radius with a 14 to 1 overall ratio. Wheels on this car are the $468 optional 16 by 8 inch IROC-Z cast aluminums with body-colored painted pockets and are shot in 245 56 R16 Kumo Exta all-season tires. Brakes are the $179 optional power-assisted 4-wheel disc brakes with 10.5-inch vented rotors with single-piston calipers up front and in the rear. There is no ABS, traction control, or any other form of driver assistance on this car. The brakes can halt the Camaro from 70 miles per hour to 0 in a long 210 feet. Alright, now as we walk along the rear of the car, of course I want to cover it in more detail, but just take a look at it. Just very muscular looking car, very powerful. Nice hatchback design, cube taillights, IROC-Z, and the quad exhaust make this car look especially commanding on the road. Alrighty, looking around the rear of the '89 Camaro, as you can see, it does very much look like a Camaro, kind of from the 70s, but with a more angular design. Of course, sharing the same body panels as a Trans Am, you get the same profile. Huge, multi-contoured formed rear glass hatch, coming down into the body color spoiler that wraps around the entire body, into these really cool, almost DeLorean style looking tail lamps. Very cubic styles, pretty typical from the 80s actually, but we do have our red stoplights, tail lights, amber turn indicators, and of course the white reverse lamps. Your license plate here goes here, and then underneath it, instead of a fuel door, you have the lock for your hatch release. And then of course moving down, massive dual tipped exhaust, and of course the requisite IROC-Z badge right back here. Now as we're going to walk along the profile of the car, just a very nice wedge-shaped car. Looks right in line with the Chevrolet Corvette. I do have the full dimensions on screen. Now as we walk along the front of the car, just like I did in the rear, of course we're going to cover the front in detail. Just take a look at it. This car, even to this day, looks really, really good. I think a lot of it just strikes nostalgia for a lot of us in my age group, because this was the Camaro up until, I don't know, 1994, 1995 when they redesigned it. Alrighty, looking up front, the Camaro looks the best up front, I believe. I've always liked this F-body design here. And basically what we're looking at is the front end of the IROC-Z. A little bit different in the styling. One cool thing, the aero mirrors lifted directly out of the Corvette. Down here on the lower rocker panel, you have the IROC-Z logo down there. Moving up the top of the hood, unique to the IROC are the faux louvered hood. These are actually non-functional, but they do look the part for sure. And then coming down, it's all body color up here. I actually believe the IROCs used to have black. I believe this car has been repainted. This does not look like a factory color, but it looks really good on this car nonetheless. Quad sealed beam headlamps up here, they're halogen. Down below we do have the louvered turn indicators. And then of course in the center we have the fog lamps with the gloss black treatment on the inset with the Camaro logo here. And of course the Camaro logo up front on the nose. Overall just a very cool, very powerful looking car. Alrighty, keys. Before we get inside, let's talk about the keys. Typical GM, we do have 2 sets of keys with us, actually 3 because we have a fuel door key as well because it locks. The oval key, all of the keys are single bladed designs. The oval is for your trunk and the locking compartments and the doors. And of course the square headed key with the chip in it, and the GM head, single blade, that is your ignition key. Now we don't have keyless remote entry on this car, so to lock the car, we're gonna pull the cylinder to the front of the car, and that'll lock it. To unlock it, turn it to the right, and that unlocks the vehicle. And take a look at what we got inside. 80s and 90s bliss in here. A very awesome two-tone red and black cloth and vinyl interior. Let's take a look at these door panels here. Nice, large, flat design. Up on top, we do have a matte black finish. And in the middle, bisecting everything, is this red, almost tweed style cloth. Nice and padded, goes all the way down. And at the bottom portion, you have the same carpeting as you do on the floor of the vehicle. And of course, we have this vinyl here for the door pulls and integrated armrest. Door release the lock switch, power locks are here, and then our power mirror controls are up here on the door, left and right controls, and the joystick control here. Taking a look at the driver's side pod, we have a couple of adjustable air vents here. This one, the louvers have kind of broken off, but we have another one down here that's adjustable. On this oddly shaped binnacle here, we do have the headlamp control, instrument panel brightness and dim, fog lamp control. Taking a look inside the footwell. Unfortunately, the IROC-Zs were only available, I believe, in automatic transmission, because I don't think GM actually had a manual transmission that could handle the power output. I don't think that's correct though. But anyway, this car has automatic transmission because you can tell because of the 2 pedals. Hood release down here. And of course, this car is fitted with the 6-way power adjustable seat. Fore and aft adjust. The front cushion, upper, raise and lower. Rear side, raise and lower. And of course the seat back adjusts here as well. Do have the typical GM twin retractor style seat belts here. And we also have a leather wrapped tilt steering wheel. All right, now let's take a look at the seats. The seats are bucket seats. Now I read a road test a long time ago where Motor Trend actually disliked the seats. They weren't as grippy as the Mustang of the time. So the road testers actually slid all over. But this tweed, it does feel quite grippy actually. But you also have the vinyl headrest, the vinyl straps going all the way down into the center portion where it kind of has that look of leather. And then add a touch of custom. It says Camaro right here. And then just a look at the T-tops there. All right, let's check out the rest of the interior. All right, now we're inside the car. Let's pan through the interior and we're going to show lots more details here so nothing is left out. Nice thin rimmed leather wrapped steering wheel here. And the spokes here are actually metal. It's a 3-spoke design. Absolutely no controls on it whatsoever. All you have is steering control and your horn. Over here on this side, we do have our typical GM multifunction control stalk. So it does the cruise control, wiper washer control, turn indicators. You guys also have your high beam and flash to pass, the typical cruise control stalk, off, on, RA, and set. Pretty simple to set. Just turn it on, and then when you get to the desired speed, just press the set button there. To coast, you basically can either tap the brake, or you can tap the end button again, and that will coast your car. To resume, you just push it forward, and it resumes back to your previously set speed. If you'd like to accelerate to a faster speed, just press and hold that switch, and it will accelerate until you wish to stop. Then just release it, and then it sets it to the new speed. To turn the cruise control off, simply flip the switch to off. Tilt control here. And looking straight ahead, we do have a nice set of instrumentation here, including a 145 mile per hour speedometer. This car is currently showing at the time of recording 6,913.6 miles. I believe it probably rolled over to 106 or something like that. Then we have coolant temperature, fuel level, battery volts. Over here we have a 7,000 RPM tach with a 5,500 RPM red line and an integrated oil pressure gauge. Down below we do have assorted warning lights. Moving over the top of the dash, just like the Corvette, it's basically a big long black shelf. No real style to it at all. It's deeply hooded. You do have this little pod here with additional air vents. Over here we do have the cigarette lighter and our rear window defroster. The extended range stereo system, or whatever that is, that little badge there. But note the lack of everything on this except for the Z28 IROC-Z badge. There is no glove box. You do have some positional air vents over there for the passenger. Of course, this car is equipped with air conditioning, as you can see here. Very easy to use. You have max, normal, bi-lev, vent and heater and defroster, and of course your temperature controller here and your fan speed controller here. And actually the car still has a functional air conditioning system. What we do have is an aftermarket stereo system. Doesn't have the stock radio anymore. Moving the shift lever a little bit out of the way, this little lever, or this little door, opens up to reveal an ashtray. Nice broad center console. Does feature the leather wrapped shift knob on the automatic transmission control and your handbrake control here. You've also got your rear hatch release here, and your window switches are here in the center console. There are no cup holders. You do have a padded armrest here, and it does open up to reveal some storage. It does have the owner's manual and stuff like that inside it. All right, so that's the interior of the car. Overhead, we do have a manually dimming rearview mirror. The mirrors also include reading lights underneath the mirrors. I think the bulbs are burned out. And then, of course, we've also got these piddly little sun visors here. A non-illuminated vanity mirror. And, of course, the sun visor swings out but does not slide out, so you can see how much coverage you do not have with the sun visor. And you can also clearly see how you can lock and unlock and release the T-tops here. So yeah, that's the interior of the car. Alrighty, let's take a look at the rear seat now. Open up the nice wide opening door. And then we're just gonna flip the seat forward. I believe at one time it probably locked, but these locks always fail. So now we're just gonna take a look at the rear seat. As you can see, just dual seats back here. A single piece folding seat back, but individual buckets are back here. They are divided by the transmission and drive shaft tunnel. Not a whole lot back here. You do have a decent amount of legroom, however. It does have 3-point belts back here, some padding, coat hooks, all that kind of stuff. But other than that, no real luxury items back here. Oh, save for the ashtray. It was the 80s after all, so everybody smoked. Now, if you want to fold the seat, it is easy to do, but somewhat cumbersome because you actually have to locate this lever here, but that's not good enough. You also have to do the other side as well. So you have to flip both levers down at the same time, which I think is dumb, but it is what GM had us do back then. And there you have it. It's actually easier to lift the seat back up. to open the liftgate, there's a couple ways you could do it. You can actually unlatch it from this area here, just like that. Or you can come to the rear, flip the license plate down, stick the key back here, turn it that way, and of course, lift up the liftgate. Now, over time, these gas struts have given up the ghost, so this actually does not stay open all the way. So give me just a second while I prop this bad boy up. All right, so here we have it, the luggage area of the Camaro. As you can see, due to the design of the fuel tank and all that kind of stuff, it's a very oddly shaped area, but it does actually work. Very nice and deep, just enough for a touring car. Now, of course, if you have your T-tops in place, it does actually greatly limit your ability to store cargo. But you also have this pull out retractor shade here, which I think the retractor is actually broke. And then over here you have this little lockable storage area here. Kind of nice little thing to have. All right, and then of course to close it, because I have a prop rod in place, you're just gonna take the hatch out and you're gonna close it. Alrighty, and there you have it, the 1989 Chevrolet Camaro IROC-Z. We hope you found the review informative, and if you did, please comment down below. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/neighborhoodcarreviews and our Instagram channel at BrensoJ1. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.